Let's get straight to the top focus here on WION Fineprint. And it all begins with these two men. The director of CBI, or the boss for all practical purposes, is Alok Kumar Verma, a 1979 batch Indian Police Service or IPS officer who has also served as the commissioner of Delhi Police. He filed a case against his deputy, Special Director Rakesh Asthana, on the 15th of October, accusing him of taking 3 crore rupees as bribe from a businessman being investigated by him for a clean chit in the case. The deputy flatly denied the charges and instead hit back at his boss. Asthana sent a 50-page complaint against Alok Verma and his team to the cabinet secretary, claiming that it was Alok Verma who had taken a bribe of 2 crore rupees from the same businessman in question. The CBI then filed an FIR against Asthana and began investigations. Verma and Asthana have been involved in a bitter feud that actually began when Verma objected to the elevation of Asthana from additional director to special director. Asthana was relieved of his duties on Tuesday, that's yesterday, and today the government of India has sent the director of CBI, Alok Verma, on a forced compulsory leave. Enter K. Nageshwar Rao, a 1986 batch Indian police officer of the Odisha cadre, the current joint director who has now been appointed as the agency's interim director. Meanwhile, both Alok Verma and Rakesh Asthana have moved India's top court, the Supreme Court, challenging their ouster. The government of India has announced a special investigation team, or SIT, to probe the charges against these officials. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that the steps taken by the government were a must to maintain the integrity of the CBI and ensure a fair investigation.
The Central Bureau of Investigation is the premier investigative agency, and the maintenance of its institutional integrity is a precondition. It's absolutely essential. CBI का आरोप स्पेशल डायरेक्टर के ऊपर है, तो सीबीआई के 2 बड़े अधिकारी, सबसे बड़े अधिकारी जो हैं, उन दोनों पे आरोप है। अब इसकी जांच कौन करेगा? The requirements of fairness and fair play have to be there.
Now let's tell you how exactly does this CBI crisis impact India. First, the integrity of the investigation body has taken a hard hit. The CBI has often been the go-to agency for a victim of any crime. There have been numerous circumstances where victims who are unhappy with the police investigations have demanded that their case be handed over to the CBI. CBI has dealt with some of the most sensational cases in the country, be it the Arushi murder case or the Beaufort scam. There is a popular conception in India that if a case reaches the doorstep of the CBI, then it's believed to be in safe hands. The top 2 officials of the investigation agency are now under the scanner. Both former director Alok Verma and former Special Director Rakesh Asthana have been accused of taking bribes. Asthana has also been accused of extortion and forgery and has an FIR slapped against him. This internal war has cost the Central Bureau of Investigation its credibility, and that's the most important thing. Second, there are over 4,000 cases pending with the investigation agency. It goes without saying that the progress of these cases will now suffer a setback. These include a number of high-profile cases, including financial fraud, corruption, and a couple of extradition procedures, so to speak. Let's take, for instance, the case of fugitive Indian businessman Vijay Mallya, who is accused of a 10,000 crore rupee fraud. India has been fighting for his extradition from the United Kingdom. Mallya's case was being handled by CBI's former Special Director Rakesh Asthana. It's now possible for the fugitive businessman to use this crisis at the CBI to his advantage. Mallya can claim in courts in the United Kingdom that he cannot be extradited on the basis of a probe that was carried out by a scandal-hit official and a scandal-hit organization. Mallya's defense team have already repeatedly launched attacks on Asthana and the CBI, and they are likely to cash in on this scenario. According to reports, Asthana and his special investigation team had begun investigations into the downgrading of the lookout circular against Mallya. Mallya fled India in March 2016, just 2 days after the lookout circular was downgraded. Reports claim that the investigation into the lookout notice was in the final stages. To add to this, there are other cases involving thousands of crores of rupees. whose files are now in the CBI's office. There is the Nirav Modi case, which involves a bank fraud of 14,357 crore rupees. There is the controversial Rafale deal, which is pegged at a whopping 60,000 crores. And joining us tonight on WION Fineprint is Mr. D.R. Karthikeyan, former CBI Director. Mr. Karthikeyan, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on WION World is One. We were talking about what this could cost the nation, this crisis at CBI. Big names can go scot-free if this situation is not fixed in time.
Yes, the only people who will be happy about what has happened in the last few days in the CBI or the high-profile accused. It gives them an opportunity to argue that the investigation, integrated investigation, has to be questioned. But that's not going to happen because these are supervisory officers. The investigating officers are Inspector, DSP, Superintendent of Police, and already the evidence has been collected, brought on record, and one or two officers at the supervisory level being there or not may not very much affect the process of extradition and prosecution. But however, it gives them a handle to them to delay the process further, to question the integrity of the investigation. That's a very sad thing. But far more damaging is the lack of affecting the faith of the people, the trust of the people in the Premier Investigation Agency, which has been trusted not only by the people all over, all the police forces, all the state governments, but even the higher courts. Whenever there is a doubt, they always trusted the CBI, and CBI always, proved its ability and integrity and impartiality.
Right.
Now, the first time, so much of damage has been done in the last few days' time.
Right.
So much of damage has been done. I'm worried about that. And
Mr. Karthikeyan,
yes, you're questioning me something.
If I were to ask you, at this stage you have a new interim chief of the CBI, and already we've seen 13 officials being transferred. A huge revamp or a rejig is happening despite these two, Asthana and Alok Verma, being asked to go on leave. The appointment is bringing in more trouble and more confusion.
I cannot comment on what the government have done last night or this morning and whatever is happening, because we are not in possession of all facts of the case. But my only, I don't hesitate to telling, this could have been preempted. This disaster could have been prevented by a preemptive action well in time, a few weeks or few days earlier. Then, we are not concerned about individual officers. Individuals come and go. Even governments come and go. But what about the integrity of the CBI, which is world renowned for, some of the excellent cases of investigation and prosecutions, and the officers are hardworking, they run the risk, resist all the temptation, resist, even the threat to their lives, and families are in trouble. But I'm only worried about the impact on them. But even now, what has happened, happened. I don't want to sit in judgment on what happened last night, this morning. But certainly, in my opinion, this could have been prevented, preempted. This could have been managed with a minor surgery than the major surgery that happened last night.
Right.
But anyhow, now no use discussing about the rights and wrongs of what happened. Now, because the matter is already in the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, I think all these arguments will be put up by the individual officers and the government and the opposition parties and all that. We have to wait for an early and clear verdict from the Supreme Court of India, and thereafter at least, the right person should be appointed and given the liberty, freedom to take their accountability and responsibility for what happens in the organization. A lot of lessons are to be learned, but very, very big price we are paying for what has happened in the organization. I am sad about it. Right,
Mr. D.R. Karthikeyan, former CBI Director, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on WION Fineprint.